7 of the fantasy basketball season. And here's a few centers down the rankings here. The first guy's Mitchell Robinson of the New York Knicks on the season. Mitchell Robinson, he's ranked number 57, 8.9 points a game, 8.2 rebounds, 1.6 blocks a game, 50% from the foul line, 65% from the field for Robinson. But the last few weeks, he's ranked 148 in that span with 8.4 points a game, 8 rebounds, only 1.1 blocks, 53% from the foul line, and 66% from the field. So Mitchell Robinson, to be honest, his stat lines, they aren't all that special or eye-popping. The last 4 games just goes to show he hasn't been doing much. January 29th versus Cleveland, 6 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 3 blocks, 66% from the field. Then versus the Clippers on the 31st, 9 points, 6 rebounds, a block, 66% from the field again. At Chicago, February 1st, 9 points, 8 boards, a block, again 66% from the field, 4 for 6. And then at Chicago 2 nights ago, 8 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and he was 60% from the field. So Mitchell Robinson, he's not going to score the basketball much. He's going to have very low shot attempts, and that's why his field goal percentage is so high, which is a pretty good thing. But I don't think he does much for fantasy owners, and right now he's having mediocre ball games at best, and his rebound numbers ain't that great. He's averaging 8 on the season. You would think a guy like him playing 28, 30 minutes a ball game will average 10 or 11 with his athleticism and size, but it's just not getting the job done right now, Robinson, and his stats and his rankings definitely falling right here. The next center falling this week is Chris Boucher of the Toronto Raptors. I spoke a lot about him this week, is Boucher, and he just isn't getting the job done either for this Raptor team. He was a guy I said to sell high the last few weeks, and now he's really struggling. On the season, 13 points a game, 6.1 rebounds, 2 blocks a game, 1.6 threes, 78% from the foul line, 52% from the field. So on the season, he's ranked 39th overall, but the last few weeks, he's ranked 202 with 8 points a game, 5 rebounds, 1.1 blocks, 1.1 threes, 80% from the foul line, and an awful 37% from the field. So Boucher, his numbers have gone down, obviously, and his minutes have gone down a lot as well. The last 4 games, 13 minutes versus Milwaukee, January 27th, where he had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 threes. January 14th versus Sacramento, only 14 minutes, 4 points, 3 rebounds. January 31st versus Orlando, 18 minutes of play, 9 points, 4 rebounds. And then February 2nd at Orlando, 19 minutes, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. So right now, Boucher, he's putting up free agent, waiver wire guys type of numbers, and he's really falling down the rankings. Like I said, on the season, he's number 32, but the last few weeks, he's 202. And hopefully he's a guy that could regain the form he had early in the season and get things back going again. The third center falling down the rankings is Davis Bertans of the Washington Wizards. Bertans, he got the huge contract in the offseason. 5 years, $80 million, but this year he's not really living up to those numbers. 10.6 points a game, 3 rebounds, 1.1 assist, 78% from the foul line, 2.6 threes a game, and only 33% from the field. But the last 2 weeks, his rankings 367 overall, 7.3 points a game, 2.8 rebounds, 2 threes a game, 60% from the foul line, 23% from the field. So Bertans, he's really struggling, and owners, they're starting to cut him as well in fantasy leagues. His percentage this week's been dropped in 5% of leagues, and the struggles are real for him. His last couple games, it's been nothing special. January 31st, he did play 30 minutes, though. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 threes versus the Nets. February 2nd versus Portland, 6 points, 1 rebound, 2 threes, but 2 for 10 from the field. And then 2 nights ago, 11 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, 2 steals, a block, 3 threes made, 37% from the field. So Bertans, he's not getting in rhythm. This Washington team, they've struggled most of the season. And last year, I believe it was pretty much a fluke for Bertans, where he got hot and he was one of the go-to guys in that offense. Because last year, he had 15.4 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, a whopping 3.7 threes a game, and he was 43% from the field, which ain't great, but way better than this season, 10% better, and 85% from the foul line. So Bertans, his numbers have taken a hit. Maybe with Russell Westbrook in town and less opportunities for him could be a factor, but right now he's definitely falling down the rankings, and he's been struggling this season. The next center falling down the rankings is Keem Burke of the Orlando Magic. Birch, he's been up and down this season, and on the year, 7.1 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 50% from the field for Birch. He don't give much in terms of a lot of categories or point leagues things. And the last few games, he really hasn't done much. January 29th versus the Clippers, 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. January 31st at Toronto, 50% from the foul line, 42% from the field, 8 points, 6 boards, 2 blocks. And then versus Toronto a few nights ago, 6 points, 1 rebound. So Birch, he was a hot pickup for a couple weeks. And then with this Aaron Gordon injury, I thought he would play a little more. But that hasn't been the case really for Birch. He's only played over 25 minutes a few times in the last few games. 26, 24, 26, and then only 15 minutes in the last game. So Birch, he's falling down the rankings. He was a recommended pickup, but we'll see what he could do this weekend with a couple games versus Chicago. But right now, his value's definitely falling, and the fifth and final center falling down the rankings this week is Robin Lopez of the Washington Wizards. Lopez here, he was doing decent the first few games, filling in for Thomas Bryant, who's out for the season with a torn ACL. But Lopez now, he just can't get in rhythm as well as the veteran. The last 3 games, he struggled. 10 points, 4 rebounds versus the Nets with a steal on January 31st. Then versus Portland, 2 points, 1 rebound. And then February 3rd at Miami, 9 points, 4 boards, 2 blocks, and a 3. So Rolo right now, he's only playing about 15 to 20 minutes a game. They got Montrezl Wagner there. They signed Alex Len a few weeks ago as well. And right now, he's a player that definitely shouldn't really be on fantasy teams or radars unless you're in the deepest of leagues, and he's a guy that's only going to play some minutes and pretty much be a body out there for Washington. They're not looking to give him major minutes, so that's a few centers falling down the rankings this week here in Week 7 of the fantasy basketball season.